This video will show you how to replace the throttle body on a Pontiac Grand Prix with a 3.8 liter engine. This will be located along the driver's side of your engine compartment. Let's get into it. Okay friend, let's get started on our job. To do the throttle body, we're going to have to partially drain our cooling system. With that said, make sure you're in a safe area to make your way under the vehicle, but we're starting under the hood. Under the hood, make sure your cooling system's cool to the touch. We're taking hold of the radiator cap and turning it counterclockwise. Unscrewing it from the radiator. Just a quick inspection of that. Now I'm going to rest it on top. Now we can make our way safely under the front of the vehicle. Underneath the driver's side front of the vehicle, we're making our way straight up in front of our subframe. Behind this shield, we're looking at the lower aspect of the radiator. Now up in this area, I'm going to be using a 19mm to start loosening this drain plug. Of course, I have a collection receptacle under here, so I can collect and recycle my fluid properly. Okay, right there is bottomed out. I'm just going to take it a tiny bit further. We do not want to strip this out or cause any damage, but we do need to make sure it's secure. Once you've done that, just go ahead and clean any mess around that drain port. Now we're going to make our way up along the top of the engine. We have to prepare to remove our upper engine cover. To remove the upper engine cover, we have to remove the oil fill inlet tube here. We're going to remove the entire tube from the valve cover. Take hold of the tube, turn it counterclockwise, and remove it. A thorough inspection of the seal. This one looks good. We'll set it aside. Now we can take hold of the upper engine cover. We're going to carefully lift it up along the front and then pull it straight forward away from the rearward mounting point. We'll set that aside. Now that we have the cover out of the way, we have a clear view of where our throttle body is located. To start the removal of this, I like to start with my electrical connector. This has a small locking tab that we have to dislodge first. I'm going to be using a small pocket screwdriver as a prying device. You really shouldn't need too much leverage here. A quick inspection of that tab to confirm it is reusable. This one is. Continuing with the same tool, we're making our way under this area and we're going to gently start prying upward. As we pull up, the connector is going to start pulling away. This is what we want to see. Once you have it disconnected, a thorough inspection for corrosion. This looks good. Now let's focus on the air inlet tube. We do have a small tube leading towards the intake. Let's dislodge that. Just a quick wiggle, slide it out of place. That looks good. As far as the air inlet tube, you're going to find that you have two clamps that have to be loosened. We have one leading to the throttle body and one towards the air filter housing. Now on my application, I'm going to be using a 7mm for each of my clamps. Typically, you're going to be using an 8mm. When loosening these clamps, we only need to loosen them enough that we can slide the tube out of place. A little wiggle here. There's that side. Slide that off as well. A thorough inspection of the inlet tube to confirm there's no damage. This looks good. I'm going to set it aside. Now looking at our throttle body, we can see that we do have 4 pieces of 10mm hardware. Up along the top, you have 2 bolts. Down along the bottom, you're going to have 2 studs. Each one of them will have 10mm mounting nuts. The one on the rearward lower corner actually houses a small tube as well. So the first thing I'm going to do in this instance is I'm going to follow the tube all the way up along the back side of the engine so we can disconnect that first. And we can see where our transmission dipstick tube is. This tube right here is what we're removing. We can see that we do have a squeezable clamp. I'm going to be squeezing the clamp and then we'll pull this out and away. Now I'm just going to use my hose clamp pliers. Slide that clamp down out of the way. Now commonly, this hose will be stuck in place. If that's the case, use a small angled pick. We're going to get in between the hose and just slide this in. Now I'm going to make my way all the way around, attempting to break this free, being extremely careful not to cause any damage to the hose itself. Now that I have that broken free, before I can pull it off, we have to make our way back to that throttle body. So we're down along the bottom rearward corner of the throttle body. We'll remove this 10mm mounting nut so we can take hold of the tube and carefully start sliding that hose and tube towards the driver's side of the vehicle. Now that I've removed that mounting nut, I'm going to take hold of the tube and carefully start sliding it out and away. it should pull away from the far end as well. There we are. Now once you have that far enough away, we can continue on to the rest of the hardware. Now back at the throttle body, we can start removing the hardware. I'm down along the bottom for my 10mm mounting nut. Have a little less space in this area. As we make our way up to the top, we just have two 10mm bolts. Just give that a wiggle, slide it out and away from the lower studs. There it is, friend. Now, prior to installing our throttle body, the next thing we always like to do is make sure we clean and inspect our mounting area. So I'm going to be using a flat blade razor going around the entire mounting surface, confirming there's no raised areas. After that, I'll just wipe it down with a clean rag. Now during this cleaning process, it couldn't hurt to take a quick peek inside of this area. Remove any miscellaneous debris you happen to see. We're attempting to pull it out and not push it in. Just a clean rag for this, you don't need any types of detergents. Now let's prepare our throttle body for installation. We're going to look along the back side. Looking in this area, you can see the groove where our gasket needs to sit. Let's install our gasket. We'll align it with the ports here. Once you feel as though you do have it properly aligned, press it in all the way around both of the ports. Double check to make sure it's properly seated. Let's go ahead and get this throttle body in place. We're sliding it over each one of our two lower studs, pressing it towards our intake. Once you have it in the proper position over each of those studs, go ahead and start in all four pieces of hardware. We'll start with the bolts and then continue on to starting on the nuts as well. Both of those are started in. Let's make our way to the lower hardware next. Now that I have them all started on, I'm going to gently bottom them out, and then I'm going to torque them to 89 inch-pounds. It's not very much. Okay, right there is bottomed out. Now I'm going to make my way up to the upper rearward corner. Now we can torque these to 89 inch-pounds. Let's double check to make sure that's secure. It should not move around in any way. After torquing that, it's time to reattach our tube. There's going to be two areas that we need to pay attention to. One area is down along this lower rearward stud. We need to slide the bracket into place. At the same time, we need to focus along the other side of the tube. We're aligning it with the pump along the back side. Just reach in here. I'm aligning everything. Press that on. There we are. I'm aligning it here. Now, once you feel like you have both sides in place, we can continue on. Now, when we install these clamps, we want to try to install them into the original position. At minimum, when you install the clamp, you need to at least be able to see hose on either side of the clamp. It's extremely important. Just going to try to get this into the proper position. Looking at this, you can tell I'm as close as possible to where it was originally, and I can see hose on both sides. I'm going to take hold of this. I'm going to attempt to pull it away. It should not slide out of place. Oh yeah, that's good. Let's make our way back towards the throttle body. We have our 10mm nut to hold the tube in place. Just make sure that's snug. Take hold of the tube. It should not move around in any way. Let's get ready to install the air inlet tube. We'll make sure we have it in the proper orientation so we can reattach the rearward tube once it is properly in place. We're going to start bringing this down. I'm going to pull it up against my air filter housing. I'm going to swing it around and bring it over my throttle body. It's in place. Tighten the clamps. Once you feel as though you have the clamps tight, make sure it's secured. You don't want any dirty or unmetered air making its way into the engine. Let's continue on with that rearward tube next. We'll pivot that as necessary. Slide it into the inlet tube, make sure it's secure. If it feels like it falls out of place fairly easily, you can use a wire tie if necessary. Mine is secured. It's time for the electrical connector. We have our locking tab facing up. As we start bringing this in, you're going to find it only goes so far. It has to go in further, but to do that, we're pressing down on this at the same time while holding pressure. You can see it slid in. It is secured. Now I'm going to lock it in position. We have our small white locking tab. Line it up, press it in. Nice. One last quick inspection in this area and we can reinstall our engine cover. We'll start along the back side. We have our one alignment tab. That's going to slide into that bracket. You can see the port. Once you have that in there, let's roll it down along the front. Now we have our oil filler neck. We're going to start with this towards the left and we'll start twisting it clockwise towards the right. Once it's fully locked in, just make sure that the oil cap is secured as well. Back up under the hood, we're over at our fill cap. I have a collection receptacle under this area in case I spill anything. I'll remove the cap. Now at this point, if you have a specialty tool, you can put it on here and start filling the cooling system. Otherwise, continue on with a funnel. You're going to be using the manufacturer's specified coolant directly into this port. Now, if you were using the specialty tool to fill this, or a funnel that did screw in, you could leave that in place. The next thing that you would want to do would be to start the vehicle. Let it run and get up to normal operating temperature. When this is happening, you need to confirm that you do not have any coolant leaks. But once it is up to normal operating temperature, typically it's going to remove any air from in the system because the thermostat would be open, the coolant level will go down, and you're going to have to top it off. Once you have it completely topped off after running it, make sure you close your cap and make sure it's secured in place. Okay friends, so we finished our installation and we've run the vehicle. Of course, we want to make sure we do not have a check engine light or running condition. Assuming everything's good and there's no leaks and you've cleaned your mess, go ahead and close the hood and take your vehicle for a road test. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.